We have put together a group of people who hopefully will impress you with their costuming knowledge. They impressed me anyhow. I just look like I rolled out of Goodwill. And they look like they've been, born with a sewing machine in their hand. It's amazing. So without further ado, I would like to introduce to you first member of our panel, who is going to explain about jumping in and getting started in the world of cosplay. Ladies and gentlemen, DJ Spider.
Just the tip of the cup, that's all she's got. Yay, coffee.
Okay, to discuss construction cheats. There's always a way to put this stuff together. Ladies and gentlemen, Amberle Linnea. Oh, well then, move over. Okay.
I just can't sit down.
Just gonna bust out of the corset. We don't need that. This is a family-friendly show.
Yes.
All right, for the oh yes, give the dinosaur back. For tips on finding things and making stuff, ladies and gentlemen, Todd Lacey. Congratulations on the wedding, Deadpool. How's that working out for you?
Well, I don't know. I don't know where she's at.
Oh, no, we haven't read it. We haven't read the issue.
Does she make you talk?
Spoiler alert. Okay, very important. The politics of cosplay. Yes. Because we all want to be fair and respectful to everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Yves Madison. Just gonna beat the politics into you, which I really did. All right, and of course now we'll have learned how to put a costume together. We have someone who's going to come in now and explain to us how to bring your character to...
No.
Excuse me, what's going on back?
You cannot introduce my twin, because that was kind of lame.
Who are you calling lame, Missy?
Let me introduce the Clown Prince of Charlotte.
Woo! Hello, Charlotte!
Oh, no!
Greetings! Yes, hello.
What is British? I think you're British.
Hello. Look, Carl, I got you a seat. In the back. There you go. That's for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Clown Prince of Charlotte.
Oh, come on, guys. We're out of carnival conveyor field. Make some noise!
I told you he's going to bring the character to life, right? I didn't warn you. All right, you guys, I'm going to pass the microphone on and let you do your thing. Who wants to go first? Start at the beginning. Oh, that's a good place to start.
It was 1972.
That's so Sound of Music of you. Let's start at the very beginning.
Yes.
Here you go,
Earworm. All right, guys. Are you guys all comfortable back there? Because there's a lot of people standing, which is super awesome. So thank you guys for coming out. Hi, Mom. And I hope you guys have had lunch. There are a ton of really... We're going to go through basically step by step on how we handle different aspects of cosplay. Nothing that we say is set in stone. I'll tell you that right now. Everybody's going to have their own process. Everybody's going to do things their own way. There is no right or wrong way to cosplay. Please remember that.
Amen.
And just do what makes you happy. So we're going to start with what I usually do when I'm getting ready for a cosplay and when I'm working on a costume. Start by finding a character that you like or that you're comfortable with. I don't care if you look like the character or not. Just be happy in it. Be comfortable in it. Like the character. It makes such a difference if you like the character because you invest more of yourself into it. Take a look at the character. Do your research. The internet is a wonderful, weird, scary place, but you will find lots of information on your character there. You'll find, screen caps. You'll find artist renditions. DeviantArt's got a ton of stuff of, artists doing their own personal interpretations of things. Go through all those bits and pieces until you find what you want to do with your character. You can pull things together from different eras on a character, like if it's a comic book character. Batman has got, I don't know how many cowls and cape designs and colors.
72.
Is that what it is?
Ask Bob.
Nerd. So you do end up with, find what works for you, what you're happy with, and then what I do is I kind of break it down. I kind of start from the top and go down. Is there a wig involved? Is there a headpiece? Is there a cowl? Is there a hat? and just kind of work your way down and break up the pieces so it's not so overwhelming for you. Start at the top, work your way down, and just kind of plan it out. And then figure out what it is you can do. Because not everybody has a sewing machine or sewing skills. Not everybody comes, with every tool that, at their disposal. Everybody starts somewhere. So if you can't sew or you don't sew or it's beyond your, ability to do stuff, like I can't do armor. Armor is the worst thing for me. So if I can find somebody else to do it for me, this is called capitalism and this works. So find somebody who can do it for you, look at your resources, talk to your friends, and then just kind of break it down and see what you can do. Is it something you can buy? Is it something you have to have specially made? Is the character one of those things where it's a movie character, so it's a little bit more basic? You can start with something simple like a Clark Kent. A costume doesn't have to be super, complicated and colorful right. No offense, honey. Right out the gate. You can start with something simple like a Peter Parker. That's so easy to do. It's just, we have Clark Kent here as well, but yeah, you can start with something really small and simple and easy and work your way up from that. It's really about going out and having fun as the character. So once you've broken it all down, figured out what you can do, what you can't do, kind of figure out your timeline. If it's something, if you started on Friday and the con was today, that might be a little bit beyond, something super complicated. But if you've got a couple of months, you can kind of pace yourself out and sort of set up a schedule for yourself. Like I want to have, my wig ordered and in by this date. I want to have these pieces finished by this date. I have to order something from China because it's a specialty item or it's a particular costume piece for an anime character. That's going to take a little bit longer. So kind of factor in all those things, figure out your timeline, and then work your way down from that. I am a horrible, organizing is my favorite thing in the entire world. I think my label maker is probably one of my priceless possessions. Like if the cats would stop moving long enough, I would probably label them because everything in our house has a label. But I love forms and checklists, so I usually make little sheets up for each character and I kind of break it down and figure out, the costume body, what accessories are there, am I going to use a cane, am I going to have gloves, is there a wig, is there a belt, is there a utility belt? When you're planning your costume, also something else to consider is how you're going to get in and out of it. If it's a really complicated costume and you need 3 people to help you in and out of it, that's going to make peeing really hard.
It does.
So think about that. You don't want to dehydrate yourself by not drinking water, but be sure to figure out how you're going to get in and out of it. Also, some things don't have pockets. So, unless you've got a clever way to tuck money away somewhere, be sure to figure out, how you're going to carry around your key card or any money that you use for shopping. Also think about what you're wearing underneath the costume. If you're somebody that does shapewear or any sort of foundation garments underneath, which is a big pet peeve of mine, and we can spend an hour and a half on just talking about underwear for superheroes, beyond underoos. But if you're going to be wearing shapewear, take your measurements while you're wearing the shapewear, because you're wearing, something to kind of keep things in place or tucked in. That's going to change your measurements. So, take your measurements with those shapewear pieces in mind. So you've got to look at all the different aspects of it, but don't let it overwhelm you. Like I said, you can start really simply and just work your way up. You don't have to make your costumes. Don't think that you have to. If you want to buy your costume, that's fine. It doesn't change the validity of the cosplay that you're doing. You can absolutely wear whatever you want to, and you can make it or somebody else can make it, but above anything else, just make sure you like the character that you're doing and that you own the character. One of my favorite stories is going to a convention and seeing somebody that from the back, I was like, oh, look, it's a SpongeBob SquarePants character. That's awesome. I'm like, look, somebody did Mermaid Man. And he turned around and it was Aquaman. And I was like, oh, but he had the biggest freaking smile on his face, and he was doing the Aquaman pose, and you could tell he had just bleached his hair out, so it had that bright, shiny yellow tint to it, and he was so happy to be in that costume that it didn't matter. He totally embodied the character. There are other people that, and Vic will cover this when he gets to his portion of it, just own the characters, and that makes a difference regardless of the quality of the costume. Some people just have that in them, that it's just part of them. So find a character that you like, to sum up because we've got so much information. Find a character that you like, find a character you can relate to, break it down, figure out what you want to do with it, which direction you want to go with it, and don't let yourself get overwhelmed. Break it down, figure out your timeline on it, figure out the pieces that you need, and then start putting it together, however that is. If you buy the pieces, if you make the pieces, for me personally, I always like to learn a new skill every year. So one year I learned resin casting because I was like, I need little studs. They're not there in that size. Every year you learn something different. And that's part of the joy of cosplay, is it becomes something that you grow with, and you just have fun with it.
I didn't do it.
It's really not that scary. But anyway, that's my portion of it. And these little forms that I make, I actually have these online, so if anybody wants to download them to help you sort out your cosplays, absolutely willing to share these with you. And if you have any questions, please ask them after the panel. We've got a ton of information, and we can't wait to hear questions. So I'm going to turn this off. Over to you.
Thank you. And before I start, I do have to have two women stand up because I'm utterly mesmerized by their makeup job. If the Snow White with the scary face,
Snow Venom.
Snow Venom, that is breathtaking. And then also this lady in the front row has a bone sticking out of her shin that literally I can't stop staring at.
I kept staring at the face.
I've been looking at the word.
I mean, that's one of the things I love about this, right, is there's so many different things. And I haven't mastered makeup yet. For the first time today, I used scarring makeup that causes your skin to tighten. So I can barely talk in between the corset, which, holy gods, I don't know how people wore these all the time, and the scarring. I've got all kinds of things going on. So Spider mentioned that you can make, you can buy. If you own it, that's what's important. Recently, I have started making most of my things because that's important to me. But I'm also very, very lazy. So I have today some cheats for you. And the very first cheat, I'm standing up, partially because it's so uncomfortable to sit down, but also because selvages are your friends. So for those of you who don't sew, the selvage is the part of the fabric along the edge where they don't cut it for you. So it's the manufactured seal at the end. It has some really interesting textures that you can play with. And by the way, it means you don't have to hem, you don't really have to worry about fraying, and it looks pretty. So selvages are your friend. I just got a bunch of tricks to show you, and I'm happy to have you come up and look at them. I'm sorry?
Is it a magic trick?
It kind of is, because like I said, I'm totally lazy. If you are just getting started and you would like the superhero pattern handbook, this is amazing. It's all of Quick Sew's master patterns in the same book. So if you want a full unitard like Beautiful Spiders here, if you would like to do a half one, I'm looking for an example. If you would like to have one sleeve, no sleeve, a big hole for Polaris, or for Power Girl, I guess has the bigger hole right here. Yes, exactly, depends on where the hole is. This book will give you the pattern to get started with spandex. So that is cheat number one. Cheat number two, I just discovered this with my Duela costume here. Industrial strength Velcro. Did you know that it came in industrial strength? This stuff doesn't go anywhere. Of course, once you adhere it, it's going to ruin your fabric. But all of my belts, including these right here, industrial strength Velcro. When in doubt,
It works for everything.
also,
No, that's duct tape.
quilting strength safety pins. I cannot emphasize the importance of good quality safety pins. It's worth the extra $1 or $2 that you spend not to have a wardrobe malfunction. Oh, along the same lines. It does. I've got a couple little tricks here also because, like Spider said, I like to teach myself new things. And those of you who saw me as Effie Trinket at MiniCon, I've been making a lot of corsets because what I'm teaching myself to do are these steel-bound corsets. Again, I'm masochistic. I can't imagine why. But cheats for things like that. In the back, you can buy grommet tape. There's no need to hand set all of them unless you're a purist, which, lazy, I'm not. So you can buy grommet tape. You can also get, I know you can't see them in here, but they're the little twist ties. I don't know what they're called. My handsome handler will know what they're called. They're the plastic things that you get at Lowe's or Home Depot. Zip ties. I should have known Spider would know this. Anything from Lowe's, she knows very, very well. Zip ties come in all lengths, and you can use them for boning in neck corsets, body corsets, and you can also use them for stabilizers and things like necks and collars that stand up. I also have in here a Sharpie marker because Sharpies are also our friends. They manage everything. They manage wigs, they manage spandex, they work on everything, and you can even dissolve the ink from them into some alcohol to spray if you want to have like a spray paint. So Sharpies.
You can dye your wigs that way too.
Yes! Okay, super glue, that goes without saying. The gel kind, not the liquid kind, because the gel kind sticks much better.
Don't sniff it.
I can't promise that, darling. And then my biggest cheat is my signature piece. Do you guys know where Tyson is? Tyson is a big beauty and wig store right here in Charlotte. It's on Tryon, right? Tryon and And Eastway, that's right. They have probably a gazillion wigs in there, but they also have cheap accessories. You can get real leather belts for $3. So I do everything with these belts. I put them here. I did a lady sip last year where I made it the armored skirt. So $3, real leather, great accessory. Don't have to sew it, construction cheap. And then the final thing that, well, there's two more things. If you are somebody who, so last year was corsets, this year is light and sound for me, which the 501st will know very well. So I am just getting started with that. But sparkfun.com has an inventor's kit that you can get for $100 that will teach you everything you need to know about motherboards and lighting yourself up.
Wow, I spent $50,000 to go to school for electronic engineering. I can only...
Hey, you could have just bought this? I know.
That's money gone!
And then my final tip for you with my crazy, I'm working on a Josie and the Pussycat, so that's why I have this leftover four stretch fabric, is how to do a boot cover quick and easy. And I know you can't see this very well in the back, but essentially...
It's a boot.
It's a boot.
There's a snake in it.
There's what?
There's no snake in it.
There might be. I do own a snake. His name is Draco Malfoy. He's a beautiful ball python, but he's also mean as a snake. I don't know what I was thinking. Anyway, this is literally just, it's actually one piece of fabric. You can do it with two, depending on the scraps that you have. And you pin as tightly as you can to the boot. And then you just take, remember the Sharpie is your friend? You take a Sharpie and you draw around that, you cut out the two pieces, you zigzag them, and you have a perfect form-fitting boot cover to match your costume.
That's sort of like this. Let me show you this too. For Deadpool. How it's stretched over.
We might need to put your foot up on the table.
Yeah. Right here. As you can see here.
So I think that's probably my segue to pass it along to my illustrious colleague. I think in summary, you know, I enjoy this art because it's fun for me to put things together. But you don't have to be perfect. Staples, gel, etc. work just as well. And I really appreciate the opportunity to talk with you today.
I'm sure everybody's having a good time, right? All right. You guys found your comic books that you wanted, like Deadpool, right?
I like Spider-Man.
I had like 2 weeks of sleep. Anyway, no, but my name's Todd, Lacey, and I've been doing this since I was a kid, pretty much. But got really into it probably about 12 years ago with the 501st. And I started out with a Stormtrooper armor and put those together. And I'm still a member and have a bunch of different characters. Deadpool's my newest one that I've just had. I don't know, have any of you seen me in my Hawkeye outfit?
Yes.
So that's all leather pretty much. But I'm here today to talk about how you can save money too and find the things that you need for accessorizing. That's very important too. You have your main element, which is the main body of the costume. Then accessories for your costume. It really adds to it. Just the little things. People will come up and really look and like, wow, you know that, and that. But the best place to start for me has always been Goodwill. That is like, yeah, that's like heaven for a costumer.
Prime example.
Yeah. Goodwill is great. Always start there, even for accessories, little things too. Shoes, shorts, shirts, any type of accessory. Shorts. There you go. And also just accessories too, things that you put on your belt, things that you can add to pin on to your costume, things like that. Hats, I found hats there, ties. Just little things like that. Then there's also thrift stores that are popping up everywhere. Now a lot of these thrift stores will carry toys. And the beautiful thing about toys is that you can convert them. And convert into, like if your character has a certain weapon, things like that he carries. Because a lot of conventions, you can't carry the real thing. Okay, that's very important to remember.
Please don't even try to carry the real thing. Don't do it.
Yeah, because the one thing, if you're in a costume for hours and hours, and you're carrying around a real sword, which I've done, and heavy metal items, a few hours can really wear on you and wear you out. So look forward to sweating and losing weight as you wear your costume.
Try a corset.
And try a corset. I tried one of those. And no, but really, yeah. And but the thing is, also look at your house in the attic. Go around, look at things that you have to use your imagination. Don't picture it as it is as you see it, but what it can be. paint, enamel paint, acrylic paint. Also, they have fabric paint. You can look at a piece of clothing, and also your dyes too. So there might be a certain pant, like for me, I do a similar type of Joker, but he's a little bit more wicked looking as far as steampunk. I couldn't find any pants, so I went to. Yeah, I couldn't find any pants. I went just to my shirt. No, but so I went to Goodwill. I found some white pants, and that fit perfectly. Because sometimes you're not going to get your size that you want, but you might find it in a different color. So dye will be your friend. So I dyed them purple from the white. Turned out great, you know, things like that. So it won't necessarily be in the color you want it. You can also paint fabric. They have fabric paint. If you can't,
like right here, the brim of my hat, right here is fabric paint. Beetlejuice right over here, fabric paint.
Right. So that's another way to save money too. You might not find it, the price will be right. It might not be in the color that you want, but you can paint it. So that's another way to save money too. And Michael's is another good place to go to. I love Michael's because the little pins and accessories that you can add to your outfit. But also, like Suzanne was saying, DJ Spidey was saying about the plan out everything. Make a grocery list of the items you need. Research the character. You might, in the process, which I do a lot, I'll find things that can go to a character for the future too. You might be at a thrift store, not necessarily looking for a character that you have planned down the road, but you may find something that you can actually use.
It's also called hoarding.
Right. There's a lot of, trust me, I get crazy. Yeah,
like
all of us.
DJ Spider's garage.
Yeah, that's
A lot of hoarding goes on in costuming.
Next episode of Cosplay Hoarders.
But also recycling old costumes. I've got armor pieces from Star Wars costumes I don't wear anymore, and I like to recycle. So recycling will happen a lot during your cosplay fun and adventures. So you'll do a lot of recycling of old costumes, repainting them.
Did you bring enough for the whole class?
So that's important too, is recycling costumes. That will save you a lot of money. The other thing too is also, is it a character you grew up with? It doesn't have to be a comic book character. It can be from a movie, of course. So there's different genres, there's different areas you can go into. Pop culture, anime, cartoons, anything. Movies, film, TV. So there's an array, even books. And you might want to do a character no one knows about. And that's the cool thing. There'll be somebody at a convention, and the coolest thing is when they come up to you and they know your character. And it's nothing that people, you have to be like they've read the book, and they'll know your character. That's the coolest compliment you can get, is when somebody recognizes you. Might not be a general mainstream character, but when they come up to you and say, "Hey, you're such and such," wow, that's pretty cool. That's like confirmation you did. You really worked on your character and did a good job. But I do it for fun. I love doing this. It's great I love doing it for the kids and also the parents when they bring their kids. We do a lot of charity work too. We visit hospitals, do parades, things like that too. So there's a lot of benefits and pluses to carrying on and doing this hobby. So it's not just going to conventions. We do other things besides this. So, but really make your shopping list. Also the internet. You find tons of deals on the internet. Clockworks. If you're into steampunk, you want to get into steampunk, and you put steampunk for search, you'll find tons of clockwork stuff.
Go on SBS, who's like steampunk wonderland.
Yeah.
Right. And you can buy boxes of stuff for gadgets and gizmos to make. Attic sales are great. Flea markets are awesome too. I usually go to the one over here in 51 in Pineville, but a lot of times there's also a real good one up near Salisbury, up near Webb Road. And that's a good one too. I discovered also there's a Lazy Poet. I don't know if you guys know Lazy Poet, the antique place over here. Sometimes that's great for finding accessorizing items as well, and clothes. They have a whole vintage area. I found some boots there a few times, and some nice skull ties for my Joker outfit. So things like that. And there's also a new place, Gibson Mill. Ever heard of Gibson Mill? Up in Concord.
Wait, didn't you
It's
get
huge.
drunk and was like having a rant, or is that Mel Gibson?
No.
Oh, okay. Too soon?
Too soon. No.
Okay.
But it's called Gibson Mills, and it's over in Concord, and that's a huge. You can spend literally the entire day there looking for things, not just for costumes, but other stuff too. But they have areas too where people sell clothing, vintage clothing as well, that are really well priced, so you don't have to worry about spending a ton of money. Old boots, things like that. The old boots are great for painting, different colors, things like that for your costume. And then also, on the internet is a great tool for finding those deals as well. So that's about it for me. So enjoy the show. I'm gonna pass it over.
I'm so scared. Hello everybody, I'm Yves, Madison, and I'm going to be covering cosplay politics. I know a lot of you is kind of like, what is that? What it means is it's covering the broad spectrum of a lot of things we don't think about when we put on a cosplay. I'm really glad earlier you used the word handler. Handler. Some of you don't know what it is. If you go to a large-scale cosplay, something that's going to be enormous, something that you know is going to bump into other people, spiky hair that you know is going to hit eyes. You want to have a handler. A handler is somebody that's with you. They can cosplay or they cannot cosplay. They basically keep you in check. Because we'll get caught up taking pictures, and now I want to go see this because we look fabulous and we want to show everybody, and the handler's like, hey, you're falling apart in the back. Yeah. You've been without a wing, like, since 2 panels ago. You've had no wings. So stay still, lay down on the ground, let me attach them.
Sorry.
This is not Titanic. I will let
we both can fit on this table.
I will let you drown, Leo.
Oh. Don't let go, Rose. Don't let go.
I've let go along the ground.
Oh.
But you do, a handler is one of those things that's kind of fun. I admit, I have a handler. I love my handler very well. Hi, Jill. That's my handler.
Hi, Jill.
I love you.
I don't.
She keeps me in check. She makes sure that I put my layers on in the right order, making sure that I don't forget. It's basically kind of like your assistant, except they pretty much like lay down the law, get it together.
You ain't taking no photo.
Yeah. Which also kind of goes into a little bit more politics of something having a backup plan. Have a backup plan. Make one with your handler. If you know that something's going to fall apart, are you late?
I am, for a very important date. I didn't mean for you.
So interrupting. Oh. But, have a backup plan. Have a backup sewing kit with you in your car. Very, very handy. Put it together. Super glue. That's what you want. That is what you need right there.
A sewing kit or like a
That is
medic
everything.
kit?
So one thing I wanted to mention too
Everything.
is hot glue gun.
Yeah.
Hot glue gun is the best thing that you can have with you.
Oh yeah. See, lovely pair of scissors.
Don't run with those.
Can I have them?
Don't run with them.
You need twine,
No, for love of God,
sewing, glue, hot glue gun. Because trust me, see this? Don't tell me you can't find an outlet for a hot glue gun. You can find an outlet for your phone. You can find an outlet for your whatever. They have them at McDonald's.
They have outlets at McDonald's?
They have outlets.
Oh, wow.
That's a new thing. They have outlets now.
Not in the playroom.
They have outlets. But that's a very wonderful example because you do need it. You need a backup plan. See this? Let me give you an example. See that?
You need new feet after
That is not an all-day event.
No.
This does not happen all day. No.
Girlfriend, no.
No. I promise you there are flats in my car right now. I promise you I did cross the street into McDonald's in bare feet.
That's right.
Yep.
And they didn't notice until I got into the restaurant. Restaurant. So just things you don't think about, which kind of bleeds into something I actually wanted to talk about more than politics, which is cosplay safety. Oh my God. I didn't realize how important or how much we don't think about safety until I went to Dragon Con. And I was around 50 quadrillion billion strangers. They were geeks. I mean, we're a community. Like if I saw y'all and y'all were on the side of the road hurt, I would stop and help Deadpool. I would stop and help Misfit or Ariel. I would stop.
Yeah, a lot of cosplayers will watch out for each other too.
We will help you. But the unfortunate part is not everybody is as cheerful or as helpful as us. When we went to Dragon Con, there was a lot of cosplayers, but there was a lot of non-cosplayers and a lot of people that actually just live in Atlanta. So you need to be aware. You need to stay together. If you do have a handler, which I highly suggest, stay with your handler. Do not see. Charlotte Comicon is much different. We're a lot smaller. You can go off by yourself and you feel safe here. But at a large-scale convention where it's at like 5 different hotels, using different floors and there's thousands of people, and you do get lost. I spent 5 hours looking for Yaya Han. I know what lost is. And if you don't know Yaya, I don't think we can meet again. But, you know, you have to be prepared. Bring a map. Know where everything is going to be. Get Dragon Con, if you go to somewhere like that that offers a manual or a booklet when you get there, try to arrive a day early. Highlight the things that you want to go see. Get on MapQuest and look at where they're going to be. Because I promise you, some of the volunteers, especially because it's just for a convention and they just kind of want to volunteer for fun, don't always know where everything's going to be. Especially when you're looking for something specific. Because like I said, with Yaya, I asked one person, where's Yaya? She's in the dealer room. Well, Dragon Con has like 5 or 6 dealer rooms. Dealer rooms. I feel warm in the dealer room. It's mine.
3 weeks.
Yeah, so safety is just something I'm very strong about. Having backup shoes, having your backup kit. Very important. Knowing where everything's going to be. Knowing what you want to see before you get in the street to go see it. Because I spent all day looking for Yaya. When I found her, my day was over. That's how long it took for me to find her. That was it. I went to the hotel, passed out. So I missed everything else that was going on. So, you know, stay with somebody else. Know where you're going. Be there on time. Be cautious of time and communication. Communication will test your friendships. My friend Anna, who's Ursula up in the back, she's laughing. It's serious. It will test your friendship. I went to Dragon Con with 2 friends of mine who, I don't know if they got caught in a time warp, but they forgot what cell phones were. And we said, hey, we're going to meet up at this panel at 1 o'clock because it starts at 2. Cool, see you there. 1 o'clock, not there. Calling you at 1:10, not there. Calling you at 1:15, not there. 20, 30. Where are you? Where are you? We go into the panel, we come out, then they show up. Well, I thought we were going to wait for the panel together. We called you. I didn't hear the phone ring. I put it on silent. Don't put your phone on silent. If you don't know anybody around you and you're not with your group, do not put your phone on silent. And if you're going to put it on silent, give it to your handler. Because they will handle it.
I got these.
They will.
I got your
They're the ones with the phone in their pocket and a watch on their hand, so when you're like, what time is it? They're just like, boom, it's 1 o'clock. Call this person. I'm already on the phone. They got it. They're your handler. They will help you because you will need help. Especially, we had one person at Dragon Con, I think she was Shiva, one of the, like, summonings for Yuna from the game Final Fantasy, and had this huge, gigantic headdress. And she had a handler, like, holding it as she walked, because the whole thing was moving. And then she had another handler in front of her, like,
Directing traffic.
everybody, like, parting the Red Sea so she could walk. So I can't stress that enough, that if you do a complicated cosplay.
Wings, just real quick, somebody taught me this tip, and it's fantastic. If you're in a group of people with wings, wings will hit people behind you. They flappity, flappity, flappity. That's not good because your wings will get damaged and you'll bug somebody else, and that ruins their day. I have a friend that does a whole group of fairies. They nest when they walk. So that one set of wings, somebody sits in the next set of wings, and they all kind of go in a straight line, and they keep track of the wings in front of them. So it's kind of like nesting fairies. And then they kind of keep everything together. So smart. Think about, that's, you know, if you've got a handler or if you don't, think about how big your piece is so that you don't...
Help each other out.
Yeah, help each other out.
Help each other. Don't be afraid to turn around and be like, hey, is my bow straight?
No. And she's had some good pieces I've seen.
Are my garters still on? Make sure everything is on.
Best panel ever.
Making everything good. Making sure you have a handler. The last couple of things I want to touch on, which are super hardcore important to me. Oh my god. Any kind of crossover, gender bending, race bending, as they call it, which I kind of dislike. That's the new one.
I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, I don't like race bending, as they call it. There was a cosplayer, I can't recall her name. She was African American. She did, you know, Sailor Venus. And everybody's, that's not right. Sailor Venus isn't black. Sailor Venus is white. No. Because that's not what cosplay is. It's loving your character and wearing your character because you want to either be that character, express your love for that character, just because you're crafty and you like to feel good. Me, not gonna lie, I have super low self-esteem. As soon as I started cosplaying, I felt fantastic. I felt 20 times better about myself. I'm way more friendly with people than I was before I cosplayed. Because as soon as I did it, I made more friends. People knew what my costume was. They complimented me. I complimented them. It was a two-way street, and we were good. There was no negativity. So it definitely helps with, you know, a little bit of self-esteem as well. I'm not gonna lie. But so hating on somebody for their costume, just don't do it. Or doing a gender-bent version of something, even if someone is a male, just doing a male version, or a female, like actually trying to be male, because there's different ways to do it. I could be Joker, but be a female Joker, actually be the character and wear a binder. Also, ladies, if you get a binder that is the right size. Do not get a binder that is too tight, because you will die. You will die.
It's hard to breathe.
You never thought you'd hear about these sort of things, did
Yeah.
you?
Oh yeah.
Welcome to the Secrets of
How are you doing on
Cosplay.
time, you guys?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So, just to wrap it up, just really safety, I think, is my top priority of cosplay politics. Super safety. Get a handler, make a plan, know where you're going, get a map, make a list, be there on time, don't trust the volunteers.
Except you.
Yeah.
She's here.
See, but she knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
She's actually running. She's running it, so there's a difference.
Yeah.
There's a difference, guys.
I'm not gonna say where's the McDonald's. I think it's across the highway. I didn't know.
Yeah, McDonald's is you got a left outside the car.
Darling.
Is it his turn, really?
Oh, here we go.
Oh no, people just...
Brace yourselves.
Stay away from my Joker.
Bro, this is my man.
Whoa, I'm moving. I'm moving. Oh, crap, rats.
Oh, God.
Do 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 do. Don't do drugs. All right, guys. Time for the Q&A. Yeah. Okay. I'm basically here for what am I doing? Attitude. Attitude. Get into character. Stuff.
I don't think the right person.
Yeah, I don't know.
Be yourself.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too loud to this guy. I got a big voice. I'm a big mouth. Really, when it comes to getting in character, there's different ways of doing it. When I first started cosplaying the Joker, I watched the snot at a Batman the Animated Series. Every time there was a Mark Hamill episode, I would watch the 1989 Batman movie. I would watch the 1969 Adam West movie. Was it 69?
6.
Because you were like
66.
Because you were like 20 back then.
Yeah.
Okay. We're close. That's why I can pick. But no, there's really, when it comes down to picking.
I'm retired right now.
Get out my lawn, you darn kids, with your loud rock music.
That's how you get into character.
Sugar. Lots and lots of sugar. Yeah. Don't do drugs, kids. Because really, like...
Don't do the Joker.
Don't get drunk so bad at chemicals. I'm not supposed to roll. It's really the hairspray. I kind of sniff the hairspray, so I'm going, it's like, yeah. But like I was saying, there's multiple incarnations of your character. Mark Hamill does it different than Jack Nicholson. Jack Nicholson did it different than Cesar Romero. So you got different versions. You can take a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Don't be afraid to make it your own. A lot of the Joker stuff I do is just me being hyper. That's it. All the time. I'm high on sugar. Just shoot him off it. No, kids, don't do that. Don't do that. What you do, you just take the sugar, you pour it in the water, mix it up, and just down it. It's the best energy drink ever. But I mean, it's really when you go to get into the character, really it's almost more of a gut check. Because you have to be cool with what you're wearing. You know, if you're wearing a suit that you bought at Party City, wear that suit from Party City like you own it, like it is the best thing ever. And if you had your suit made, wear that suit like it's the best thing ever. It doesn't really matter, because your attitude towards yourself and towards your costume is what's also going to help you either get into character, and it's also going to make and break your costume. Just like what DJ Spider was saying earlier about the Aquaman.
Yeah.
He had the biggest smile on his face, that he was just having the time of his life, and everybody loved that. And stuff and things.
I've seen $2,000 costumes, and the person wearing them had a crap attitude, and it ruined it for me. But I've seen people with a $10 costume, and running around having a great time, and it just makes me happy. So it's all, absolutely, it's all attitude.
Yeah, because my costume, bought the hat, the gloves, I bought from a clown thing. These are actually women's stockings from Walmart. The shorts are from Rugged Warehouse. I'm wearing women's stockings. I'm wearing women's socks. I'm wearing men's shoes because I have to wear something that's a men's. But I mean, it doesn't really matter. The shirt's made. But it doesn't really matter where your costume comes from as long as you wear it with pride and you wear it knowing that you are having the time of your life. You are wearing it because you are representing your favorite character. It doesn't matter if you're good, bad, whatever. The whole point of cosplaying is you're here to have fun. And it is ultimately, I hate to say it, but there's some people that just take it too far to where I'm better than you, basically the high school mentality. And you know what? Cool for them. You're here to have fun. And that is the main thing that you can do. It's just wear it to have fun. And I don't want to take up too much of the time because I can go blah, 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 because I'm pretty sure we want to do a Q&A section because we still got like 15 minutes. So I'm going to end it on that and let you guys ask us questions.
Anybody have a question? Raise your hand.
Anybody? Yes! You, Symbiote, Snow White.
Just stand up.
Stand up.
And be loud. Yeah.
You have to be louder than me.
Project. So, how did you guys feel about the cosplay show on Sidewalk?
Here's a cosplay?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Oh, God. What?
Alright, reality TV.
Pass the mic.
Yeah, reality. Here comes the correspondence.
I have a unique position on that because I know several of the people personally that are involved with that show and are friends, so I kind of knew what was going on. It's reality TV. It's going to show you what they want to do to incite, you know, to make you come back and watch another episode. Nobody wants to see anybody cook eggs, you know, in the morning for breakfast. Nobody wants to see that. They want drama. They want all that stuff. So that's what was shot. After they showed the first episode and they got the negative reactions from the cosplay community, they actually went back and re-edited all the other episodes before they aired to change the perspective a little bit. They couldn't do a lot, but they tried to do what they could to mitigate all that. There's a scene from last season where they're all at a restaurant and there's that horrible piece that comes up about, oh, you know, shouldn't play, you know, cosplay Superman if you're 300 pounds or whatever. Okay, you cannot tell me that you put that many cosplayers together over dinner and that's the only thing they ended up talking about. I can tell you right now, you put us all in a room, we will talk about everything under the sun, but that was the one piece that the editors decided to post and put out there. The new season, which starts, I believe, this month or next month, there's a little bit different perspective on it. There's some new characters and everything. Take from it what you want to. Look for the good in the show, is what I would do. I think I would love to see more of the crafty side of it, like how they made things, because that's just my interest level on it. But take it with a grain of salt. They're only going to show you what they want to show you, and it's not to put necessarily a bad light on cosplay. It's to get viewers and to get advertising. So don't blame the cosplayers necessarily in the show. Blame the editors that are putting it together, you know, mixing up the words, mixing up the scenes, and just wanting to show what they think is going to draw viewers, which is then going to get advertising money. It's just marketing. But if it shows you a different side of it, or you see some of the camaraderie, run with that. If you see, there was last season, you know, all that stuff going on stage. Also, I don't know anybody that puts that much money together consistently for cosplay contests, so I don't know how much. I think Sci-Fi was putting up the money for a lot of those contests also. But just take it with a grain of salt. It's marketing, it's advertising, it's going to show you the worst of it, and it's not to say that there isn't a worst of it. We all have our bad days, but it's also, you know, it's more than that. And if you take it and you go, I can do better than that, I can be a better person than what I'm seeing on TV, do that. So that's my feeling on it. Another question? Wow, everybody knows everything. This is awesome.
No random questions.
Okay, raise your hand if you have a plan for a costume. Okay.
Always.
All right, so so we have a lot of people who actually are already in. How long? 5 years. Who's been doing it for about 5 years? Okay, 4 years.
Been doing it for this year.
Okay, 3 years. 3 years. Okay, 2 years. Okay, in the last 6 months.
Awesome.
Awesome. So
Who's this?
it's a growing.
First timer. Who's the first timer?
It is first timer. Awesome. So the great thing is that this is a growing community too. I mean, it's exploded. Yeah, and it's all ages. It's just not just young folks. It's like old farts like me. No. But I've been doing it since I was a little kid too, with theater and stuff. So I kind of grew up into it. But but it's a great hobby to get into. It can cost a lot depending on how far you want to take it. So.
You're never done with the costume.
Right.
Never done with it. You may think, oh, it's good, and then you go out, and then next year you're like, I can make improvements.
Exactly. And what I'll do, I've had incidences where I'll have a costume where I'll start working on it. Then I'll say, oh, I want to do that one. And I'll get that one done before I get this one done I had 2 years ago. So you're going to run into that a lot too. But you'll pick up pieces, like I was saying, you'll walk around and you'll find places. Like yesterday myself, I was out and about, I was looking for a cane for the last about 2 years for a character of mine. Finally found it, picked it up yesterday. But it was just, things like that will just hit you out of the blue when you find that specific piece that you need for your costume. So you're always keeping an eye out regardless of where you go. You said somebody had a question?
Wait.
In the yeller with the spiking.
Yeah.
Stand up, sir.
Go ahead, stand up.
Stand up.
What are some of the strangest things y'all have used in your outfit?
Hold on.
That one we're all excited about because it's all creative. One of my favorites is I used contractor knee pads, you know, those just foam knee pads that you buy at Lowe's or Home Depot for $3, as a hip cage to exaggerate the hoop skirt of my Effie trinket. So the knee pad repurposing is one.
If you're old. Barbarella, the 60s movie with Jane Fonda, she has a green outfit and it's got this whole green sort of armory thing that looks like little squares. My friends and I, and it's always fun to cosplay with friends and work with friends, I went out and I bought a whole bunch of red Dixie plates. And we cut the plates up into little squares, we spray painted them, we put them together with little jump rings, and turned it into armor. And the remaining pieces were hidden all over my house. I kept finding leftover pieces of plastic plates because my friends thought that would be funny. I love my friends. But no, and so it came out beautifully, but in the end it's just plastic plates that I picked up for a couple of bucks at Bilo, and then just some spray paint and put it together. But you know, unless you got close and you looked on the back side, you'd never know that.
And what I have for Hawkeye is the 2-inch PVC piping. I didn't want to have a regular quiver for my arrows, so went to Lowe's, got the PVC piping, put them both together, and got the little attachment for the piping where you screw it in, tightens it up. So I got that, and went and got a gun strap at Dick's Sporting Goods, and put them all together. And then I repainted it to match up just like Hawkeye's colors. And so things like that, you know, those little items you get at Lowe's, look for things like that too for your costume. And she was saying about the knee pads, they're great shoulder, you know, the shoulder pads too. Which if you ever watch, there's a guy at San Diego Comicon who did the Deadpool for the game. And I was looking at them, and I recognized the shoulder pads were the contractor knee pads, or shoulder pads. So that works great too, which that's what I'm working on myself is that. Oh, there's another good place to go to too, over on 51, where they have the reused Play It Again. You ever heard of them? The sports place. So that's a great place to go for padding, for costume stuff. Great place if you want to do a baseball fury. Some of you know the Warrior movie. I know some of you probably don't. I've never heard of it, but the used baseball outfits are great for a baseball fury outfit. So that's a great costume to do also.
Wait, we didn't do ours. Oh, we're not bored. That's okay. No.
Now I'm sure you get some weird stuff too right here.
We do weird stuff. I think the strangest thing I've ever done, I guess I'm gonna call them booby pads.
Yeah.
That they put into bikinis. Booby pads. Yeah, they keep your ladies good. I took 2 bikini tops that I had and I ripped the booby pads out, and then I glued them together so they kind of did this flayed kind of look, and then I covered both of them in tinfoil, and I spray painted them, and then I painted them again, and then I did something that these little children should not do at home, and I took super glue and I glued them to my shoulder.
Oh. Is that the same time that you super glued the diamonds on your face?
They don't even know about that.
Okay.
I did not sit in a hotel room in this hotel and super glue diamonds to my face one at a time at 6 o'clock in the morning. Never happened.
No, not for the last couple.
Never happened. No. Never happened.
Sitting there at dinner.
I will say, not as bad as it sounds. Not as bad as it sounds.
Nail glue, not super glue.
My bad, handler. My bad. You were the handler, not the speaker.
This is why we have handlers.
No, she knows, because she did.
You gotta tell them what the global face is right there.
She did half my face, so she should know she's my handler. That's why you need handlers. She knows. I don't. She's the brain, I'm the body.
For me, besides wearing women's clothing.
Which is normal for
Yeah, oh my god, at this point it becomes normal. No, seriously, my first Joker pants were actually women's pants. The weirdest thing I would probably say is Shrinky Dink. I used it on a Sinestro Corps Joker that I created. We got a flower from Hobby Lobby, and it was cool because I normally would find the other flowers, cut the stems off, try to put a safety pin through it and pin it on my jacket. My buddy Andy actually found one that actually like women would clip in their hairs, but it has like a little diamond on it. So we colored that, and I used Shrinky Dink to trace out the Sinestro Corps symbol. Put it in the oven, it shrunk down small enough to where I could hot glue it on and paint it on.
really clever.
Next question. Yes, you up here in the front.
Courtney?
How do you get your wigs to that age?
How do you get your wigs to...
Oh, you pat it.
You just pat down.
Okay, so this is something about which I'm passionate. So I think that the best way to keep it from irritating your scalp is to make sure that you wash it. And any acrylic one, it just makes the texture so much better. So I actually learned this from a panel at a convention with some cosplayers up at the front. And literally I use Woolite to wash the synthetic wigs. And then I brush them out with a children's detangler. It takes away all those plasticky irritants that get on your head. It really does. It's magical. And it makes it last better and flow better. Being synthetic, it pops right back into shape. I wish our hair would do that. But it really does cut down on that chafing factor.
Yeah, and a wig cap.
Yeah,
And the wig cap makes a big difference as well.
I feel like I dipped my head in fire.
Yeah, no, it's... But also make sure your wig isn't, some wigs come in different sizes, so make sure your wig isn't too tight. Because I've actually, at the end of the day, actually had a little ridge where it's been too tight, and I've had like a little canyon across my scalp, and that itches.
Scar.
Yeah, if a wig is too tight. So make sure your wig isn't too tight also. And also some wigs do come in different sizes. For whatever the reason, the big beehive wigs that you can get online are like 2 sizes too large. I'm like, I don't know who they're meant for, but I always end up having to add extra elastic to get them tighter.
So along those lines, just a couple other quick tips that I know are near and dear to the folks that are up here. One is choosing the correct tights for your outfit. We haven't touched on that yet. Dancer tights. How many of you have seen the tights that have the little line that separates the thigh from the bottom part?
Control
totally
tops.
disrupts the flow.
Yeah.
Control tops, which some of us as we age need, but the dance tights works just as well. The other thing for sore, aching feet, I'm going to steal a tip from my dear friend Spider here. The first one is mine and the second one is hers. It's worth it to invest in family-friendly, in exotic dancer boots, because they come with an automatic layer of padding and they're intended to be worn standing up. So I don't have nearly as many problems with those boots as I do with standard ones. And so I don't steal her thunder. I will let Spider give you her tip for how to soothe aching feet at the end of the day.
Find somebody who'll rub them. Actually, go ahead and a tip that was told to me, and here's the best thing about the cosplay community is that we all talk to each other and we share tips. Feel free to reach out to any of us if you have questions, absolutely, or to anybody that you find online. Please don't ask, though. I'd like to know exactly how you made that costume, exactly what pieces you used, and if you could share the patterns with me and tell me all these things in exact detail, I would really appreciate it. It's the creative process. Learn to do, figure out what you're going to do with it. But we're willing to help, but we're not going to explain it step by step for you generally. But beyond that, sharing tips, Tiger Balm. At the end of the day, it's super mentholated, it's super stinky, but Tiger Balm on your feet at the end of the day is one of the best things in the entire world, and a foot rub. But also gel insoles. Get the gel insoles. If you're going to be on your feet all day, and think about it, if you're at a convention, think about what you're going to be doing. You're going to be on your feet all day. Take all those things into account, because it'll kill it if on the first day you wear the most fabulous boots ever, and then you can't walk for the next 3 days. Don't do that to yourself.
Don't be afraid to modify your boots.
And here's another one for you too, to bring to, if you end up doing the multi-day cons, bring Febreze.
Yes.
For your clothes, for your costume.
Yeah.
Febreze is, you know, definitely will. Yeah, that's too. Yeah, so you can drink Febreze too. That's what they pick up. No, but the Febreze is great to have with you. Make sure you have enough of that packed away when you go to a long, you know, a weekend convention. And icy hot, yeah.
Not even the kind that's like on the little.
No, it's Crossbones.
Oh!
What's that?
Crossbones.
My fault.
Yeah.
Nice.
Crossbones, yeah.
He was in the Winter Soldier.
Nice.
But not as Crossbones yet.
Right.
Oh, don't tell me I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, we won't say.
Hey, I do want
Give me your
Yeah, go ahead.
there was talking about the tights and the spandex and everything else, and I understand, okay, it looks great as far as, you know, we look at the comics and we see these characters, Wolverine running around in yellow and blue tights, but you see somebody, and even if somebody works out, it's still kind of a little quirky or whatnot. But I've been wondering, I've done several high-end costumes, a gladiator outfit, I've got a Firefly, G.I. Joe, you know, did a number of costumes, and still have a couple I'm working on, but I want to eventually do a Batman costume. And with that being said, I mean, I'm not knocking anybody, everybody knows what they want to do, and I'm not, what the Joker said, you know, we all do it at our own levels.
Right.
And I think with each costume we do, we challenge ourselves to the next costume we do to make it that much better than other stuff we've turned out and stuff. You know, but I was wondering about scuba suits and wetsuits. How would they? It seems like they would look better and look nicer than spandex.
Well, the thing I've seen people do, I've had people buy the scuba suit. Of course, you're talking about breathability too, and heat you have to deal with. But I've had them to where they cut the joints, like here and here, you know, legs, you know, certain areas, and they've had them sewn in the spandex at those areas, so it helps breathability and also motion, because you're going to like a lot of motion, and then also the diving suit's going to be expensive. But like I said, you can get online. There's used ones and stuff too.
You can also, if you're going to do that, because they do get hot, you can get these little gel packs that you can freeze. Hikers use them. They wrap them in little kerchiefs. You can actually freeze them, and we keep them in coolers and stuff. If you're going to be wearing something that you know you're going to get hot in, take one of those and figure out a way to attach it to the back of your neck to keep it cool. Also, the 501st is an expert on keeping cool. They put little fans, like little computer fans, inside helmets to keep that cool. That's like really important. Also, if you're going to be wearing like a spandex suit like that, I'm going to say one word to you, and for the men in this room, it's called a dance belt. I want you to go find a dance belt.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate that. I will definitely get that next time. Sorry to scare most of you kids.
Dance belts.
Yeah, I need one to cover my nipples too. Sorry.
When you're thinking about the fact, when you're
it took a lot of guts over there. Come on.
When you're at a comic book convention, there are kids there, so always remember that spandex is very clingy and very tight, and nobody needs to know which religion you are when you walk through the crowd, because I guarantee you that picture is nobody's family favorite. Because kids are about this high, so you know that's not a pretty picture. So a dance belt will kind of Ken doll you.
Well, that's why I was. That's why I won't do spandex.
Yes, and
that's why I would rather do a wetsuit if I'm going to do something like a Batman or something like that.
Right. There's also, Bob Kiefer's probably going to kill me if I say this wrong, dye subs?
Dye sub suits.
Dye sub suits, to where it's basically printed on the same material that bathing suits are printed on. And with that, you can actually cut it out and sew it as a bodysuit, but you can also have it printed to where there's muscle tones and stuff like shadowed in and everything, and Hell Hydra. But you can get away with, so like if you're not a big muscular guy, you know, you can have like, you know, like I'm a small strong dude.
Definition.
You know, so you can get that.
But if you are going to do a big heavy suit like that, like a scuba suit, I've seen some people do it, and if you add the cowl as well, all of your heat usually goes out of the top of your head. That you're keeping that heat in, and then you've added a scuba suit, which is supposed to keep you insulated in the water as well. You might as well just check out.
I'll probably not do the cowl because you got the Batman head that would, or the hood that would go down over there.
Real quick, another site I want to give you too is it's called muscleflex.com. Our Flex Muscle is they make the muscle suits.
Yeah.
The guy is detailed down to the veins and everything. It's amazing. These suits are.
Yeah, they're expensive.
They're very expensive.
Where else can you hear about binders, muscles, dance belts? Dance belts.
Dance belts. They wear women's clothes.
Yeah, essentially, if you're getting into cosplay, just remember you're going to need storage. You're going to have to. It's a hobby that keeps growing, but it's as fun as you make it, and you'll make friends all across the world and just in your own hometown, and it's awesome.
Well, I'm going to cut in here real quick because we're just about out of time. But before we go, just to touch on overall what everybody here has been talking about, make sure you get that takeaway. As far as it doesn't matter what skill level you're at, if it's day 1 or day 5,000, if you spent $5 or $500, own it, wear it well, and most of all have respect for one another and treat each other well. We're all part of the same cosplay family. I do a quick story about someone that I care about very deeply who was sort of scarred as a child because it was at the height of Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and wanted to be Chewbacca for Halloween. Back in the days of the vinyl mask that came in the box with the poncho and the little string. Had the mask, but it didn't have the poncho with it. So his mother made one for him out of a brown bath mat. And, you know, he was dealt a fair share of abuse in elementary school for this Chewbacca, but you know what? At least he did it. And he owned it. He was the best Chewbacca in Fort Mill. Garrett, I love you.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But
I still have the mask.
He still has the mask, yeah.
Do the Chucky, do the roar.
But I am going to end up sequestering a couple of our panelists here as far as getting the cosplay contest kicked off, which we will be meeting back in here for the parade at 2:30. So you will still be able to, well, I'll be taking Todd and Amberle out of here, but the rest of our panelists will still be here if you want to get pictures made and talk until I return them. But I do have one other announcement to make. My family has been working with Dave and Rick for a good couple of years now, going back to a different hotel too, as we've grown with the show each year. And there was someone that I met going back into 2012 who ended up being a lifesaver for me because I just got kind of thrown in. I would always come up and walk around and take pictures for them. And then one day I came in and they said, hey, now you have a job. Hey, now we need you to do this, 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 and this. So job had 15, 20 things added onto it. And just as one person, with the kind of crowd we get here, it was overwhelming. And sometimes you can't be in 10 places at once. And you can't make everybody happy. But it helps to have someone around that can make people happy, and who, even though it's not their job, is willing to step up because they're part of the family and do what needs to be done. I don't exactly ever want to call somebody sidekick, but you know, hero support's a good word. So with that being said, Victor, will you stand up, please? We would just like to thank you, from the bottom of my heart anyhow, for all the help that you do. It is invaluable. He is always the line leader for the parade. He wrangles everybody. He entertains everyone from an hour before the doors open until an hour after the show closes 3 times a year. And, you know. Come here, big guy. For all your dedication and your, like, don't cry, you're going to ruin your makeup. So, thank you. You mean a lot, Joe. And thank you all for coming in and enjoying the Secrets of Cosplay. Again, feel free to ask them questions. You know, they're not going to give you all their secrets. It's up to your imagination to do that. So give them a big round of applause. And enjoy the rest of the show. Again, remember, be in here at 2:30.